When you hear the name George Washington Carver, you probably think that peanut guy that we did like one lesson on in elementary school. But I want to talk about something that you might not know, his contributions to mycology, the study of fungi. George Washington Carver was not just a peanut scientist, he was an ecological revolutionary. So in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the southern United States was facing an agricultural and ecological crisis. Generations of cotton monoculture combined with exploitative farming practices had stripped the land of all of its nutrients. Yields were plummeting, and formerly enslaved black farmers were struggling to support themselves on degraded land. It wasn't just an environmental issue, it was also a racially charged one. Many black farmers were sharecroppers or they were tenant farmers, often working on the very same plantations that had once enslaved them in a sort of quasi-slavery. Carver, a black man himself, recognized that revitalizing the land was going to be key to helping these farmers achieve independence. And fungi played a role in that. So Carver studied mushrooms and molds and plant pathogens and specifically focused on their connection to soil health. He promoted composting and crop rotation and natural fertilizers, using the land and healing it at the same time. He also researched specific fungal pathogens that attack crops, which helped farmers to not only recognize but also manage certain pathogens before they destroyed entire fields. Some of his fungal specimens were even sent to the USDA for further study. Carver personally donated over 1,000 specimens to the US National Fungus Collection, and many of those specimens are still being held at places like the US Botanical Garden and the Wisconsin Herbarium. But like a lot of his research outside of peanuts, his work was largely ignored in his own time. The way that his work has been truncated in the history books is not accidental. He genuinely was one of the most brilliant scientists that the United States has ever seen. But his legacy has been flattened into the peanut guy. The truth is that his work revolutionized multiple fields: agriculture, chemistry, botany, biology, and yes, even mycology. George Washington Carver was not just solving problems for farmers or making suggestions about other things that they could be growing. He challenged the entire system. His work proved that sustainable agriculture could work, and it could also help to pull black farmers who were being disenfranchised out of poverty and give them some sense of independence and self-determination. The takeaway is extremely simple, but it's also really radical. The land can heal, and so can the people who work it. And mycology was one of the tools that he used to make that happen. So the next time you see a mushroom, remember that George Washington Carver was studying them over a century ago, and he used what he learned from these fascinating organisms to help rebuild soil, restore ecosystems, and fight for black farmers' futures.